Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy and I'm going to be doing my top 5 worst movies of 2023. I couldn't come up with a top 10 list. I probably could have, but it wouldn't have really been a fair list because only 5 of the movies that are at the bottom of my list are the ones that I think are the worst movies of the year, that are really bad movies and everything. And from pretty much after the top 5, there's other movies that I think are just mediocre, not super great, that I don't feel like were worth putting in a top 10 list of worst movies, because I don't think they were bad enough to be qualified as that. So I'm only doing 5 movies that I saw this year that I didn't like and everything. I'm sure if y'all have been following my channel, y'all might be able to guess some of these and everything. But coming in at number 5 is My Babysitter the Superhero. Now, this movie, I was going to cut it some slack and not even include it in the top 5 and everything, but when I watched it and everything, there's a lot of really immature, potty humor in this movie, and it took it down a lot. Like I could have probably gave this movie a pass, because it is a really low-budget movie, and the writing and dialogue is not very good and everything, and I wasn't going to include it as one of the worst of the year, and then it starts having all these really dumb potty and fart jokes and stuff that just are not funny, and it kind of ruined the movie for me, to be honest with you. I think I could have dealt with the bad acting and the bad dialogue and enjoyed this as a so bad it's good cheesy movie and stuff, but they had to throw in fart jokes and and some Jurassic World Dominion. I absolutely hated Jurassic World Dominion. This movie was just huge disappointment. I saw it in the theater and felt highly disappointed with it and everything. Part of it was they took out that awesome opening that they had teased us with, where it showed the dinosaurs in time before humans were around and stuff, back in the old dinosaur times and everything. And it was a really fun scene and everything, and they showed it in the marketing, but they didn't put it in the movie. And then they released the DVD and have the extended version with it on there. And while I do think that part in the movie is still awesome and everything, it adds a little bit to the movie, I don't think Jurassic World Dominion is a very good movie. The story is a mess. Nobody cares about the giant locusts. I had always wanted them to bring locusts into a Jurassic World movie. I always thought like the ancient locusts and stuff were kind of a fascinating thing and everything. They used them in one of the Land Before Time movies as a kid. That's how I even knew that those things really existed. But I was like, it'd be cool to see them in a Jurassic movie, but I didn't mean make the entire movie about the stupid bugs. Like, it'd be cool to see them as one of the threats, yes, but don't make them the biggest threat in the world, and what's going to run in the world is bugs eating the plants and stuff. That stuff was just really dumb, and I felt like they wasted both the new and old cast and everything, although I felt like the old cast had more interesting stuff to do and everything. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's characters weren't near as memorable or interesting as they were in the first Jurassic World. They really weren't either in Fallen Kingdom either. They just kind of they were interesting in that first Jurassic World movie, and the last 2 movies in this trilogy just sucked. It kind of have ruined my love for the Jurassic Park franchise. I always have been a huge fan of this franchise, but this trilogy was not very well done, and this is a pretty terrible one, and easily one of the worst movies of the year for me. However, this is the only one I have rewatched, and only because I wanted to see that extended version and everything, which just, aside from the cool opening, didn't really add much to the story, or it didn't really add enough to make the movie like super great. But yeah, so Jurassic World Dominion is number 4, and number 3 is Lightyear. This is the first ever Pixar movie that I absolutely hated. I did not like this movie at all. Chris Evans did his best as Buzz, but he's not Tim Allen and everything. And say what you want about Tim Allen, whether you agree with his views or not, he is is perfect as the voice of Buzz, and he is a good actor. So I mean, and everything. And I thought he was great as Buzz Lightyear. I don't know. I get why they recast him. I mean, logically, there are reasons that make enough sense and everything. They wanted to make sure that people knew this was a different Buzz and stuff. But recasting him, I think, hurt the movie anyway. It flippity-flopped really bad and everything, deservingly. The first Pixar movie I've ever said that on. Even Cars 2, which is not a very good movie either, I would rather watch over Lightyear any day. This movie was just flat out boring. Unlikable characters except for the little cat robot. He was kind of cool. And I somewhat liked Buzz as a hero, but I didn't like the way they wrote his character in this. He just, like I said, I have a lot of hatred towards this movie. I just don't like it. And Pixar, even with their weakest movie before this, Cars 2, never really gave me a big disappointment and everything. Like, I was a little disappointed with The Good Dinosaur and stuff, but this movie was just absolutely horrible. I didn't expect much out of it. When I heard Chris Evans was doing the voice of Buzz Lightyear, I was like, yeah, this isn't going to be very good and everything, because Chris Evans is one of my least favorite actors. He's just very overrated to me and everything. I like him in a few things outside of Captain America, but really Captain America is the main thing of his that I like. Man, I thought he did the best he could as Buzz, but he wasn't very good, and the story just wasn't very good. There's a big twist in there with Zurg that was horrible, and it's not a very good movie. So Lightyear is number 3, and number 2 is Morbius. This is the new Spider-Man universe movie that came out earlier this year. It came out on April Fool's Day because this movie is nothing but a freaking joke and everything. And the movie bombed bad in the box office because it is a terrible movie. It's forgettable. I don't hardly remember anything about it. It's just a very bland and forgettable movie that a lot of people said felt like an early 2000s superhero movie. I wouldn't even go that far, because at least that's kind of insulting to a lot of those movies. Like, those early X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movies were really good, so comparing it to them, I definitely would say it's not on those levels. And maybe the Fantastic Four level of bad, but not all of the superhero movies from that time period. But it's very generic and everything, and it has a lot of plot holes, things that don't make sense, and the dumbest end credit scenes I've seen in a superhero movie, I think, and they're just pointless and dumb, and this movie sucked. So Morbius is number 2, and my number 1 worst movie of 2012 is The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. This movie was god-awful. I absolutely hated this movie. Everything about it, the animation is horrible. The voice cast is terrible. None of them live up to their original voice actors. I think I already mentioned the animation is terrible, but I'll mention it again because that is a huge part in why I don't like the movie. And the story is just really bland and dumb. It's one of those movies that was supposed to be a TV show, but they decided to cancel doing it as a show, and just with the episodes that they did produce, turn it into a little movie and everything. And I hate when movies do that. Star Wars: The Clone Wars did that, and the first movie, the movie that started the Clone Wars show, was not very good. They've done it with other direct-to-video movies like Tarzan and Jane, and I've seen this concept done in other stuff. Sometimes it's done better, but I don't think any of them have been done worse than this movie. The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild is it is awful, and I'm a huge fan of the Ice Age franchise. I love the first 3 movies a lot. 4 and 5 I think are pretty good and a little underrated. They're not as good as the first 3, but they're still a fun enough time. And this one was just it made me want to pour bleach in my eyes. I hated this movie, and seeing that Disney shut down Blue Sky Studios just to take their most popular property and make a soulless cash grab to get people to subscribe to Disney Plus over this gigantic piece of crap movie. Just, it blows my mind. I absolutely hate The Adventures of Buck Wild and everything, and it's the biggest pile of crap I've seen from 2022. It's just a horrible movie, and everything. So I definitely say that it's the worst movie of 2022. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Ice Age: The Adventures of Buck Wild and these other movies being on this list. Do you agree that they deserve to be on here? Do you disagree? Also, let me know in the comments what your worst movies of the year are. There's a lot of movies that I have missed that people have had on their worst list, and stuff that probably would be on mine too. But like I said, I only felt like there was 5 that I hated enough to put on a top 5 list. So I was able to do that. I'll be doing my top 10 favorite movies of the year sometime later this week or next week and everything. I might do some more top 10 lists for 2022 and everything. I'll see, but I'm at least getting these 2 done because these are the main 2 I wanted to do. So anyway, let me know in the comments what your worst movie of the year is. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.